Pretend you didn't see the Audi R8 in that opening footage. Somebody told you that that was the noise of a supercar that shares a lot of similarities and a lot of parts with the Lamborghini Gallardo. Would you believe him? It's amazing to think that Audi made such an amazing car and made it sound kind of like their A4. Guys, I'm Samcrac, and today we will be changing that by installing a titanium valved Army-Trix exhaust on the Audi R8 rebuild project. Installation of this exhaust is straightforward. That is, once we actually get to the exhaust, you can see the heat shield down in there. There's a lot of stuff that has to come out of place. I've already taken just a few, just scratching the surface of what we actually need to disassemble. But when I was working on the suspension, I have the side engine covers off right here. I have the top of the air box out here. We still need to remove this spoiler panel, which is separate from the bumper. I think that this is a body panel by itself as well, the piece that holds the Audi emblem. The tail lights. There's a lot of stuff to get to here. Let's jump right into it and disassemble the rear of our Audi R8. I've only removed one of those rear underside ducts. Look at how many rocks fell out of there. This is going to be a full exhaust install and weight reduction. There is a lot of engineering that goes into the Army-Trix box. It is the perfect height to hold your bumper in place while you fish out all the remaining harnesses, and they are out. This thing is disgustingly dirty, but it's great that we got it off the car because we'll be able to clean pretty much everything back here before we reassemble it. But we're gonna continue with the disassembly. We can start to see our exhaust pipes back here. The nice thing is, once the tail lights come out and then this big heat shield comes out, you literally pull everything out in one piece and replace it in one piece. We're gonna save a ton of weight by doing this. The titanium exhaust weighs so much less than the stock piece. I'll give you exact figures shortly. Look at how bulky the factory exhaust is. It's huge. I can hardly lift it with one arm. If I was guesstimating how much this weighs from lifting out of the car, it has to be around 80 pounds. It's big. This is what is killing our noise in the R8. The 4.2 liter V8 is one of Audi's best sounding engines, but you can hardly hear it through this thing. Let me show you what we're replacing it with. I am super excited to install this and hear it for the first time. This is the Armytrix titanium valved exhaust. Look at how beautiful the build quality is. Of course, all the welds. One of the best parts, one of the added bonuses, look at this. One arm, I lift the entire thing completely up. It weighs maybe 15 pounds, maybe, and it's super simple. You hook this up, well, we put the heat shield over it, hook it up exactly to where the factory exhaust was clamped to, and then you just clamp these on using the clamps that they give you. These have the valves in it. This is what will quiet the exhaust when we really want to be in stealth mode, but when we want to open it up and make this car sound like it should have sounded like from the factory, well, you just hit the switch or you control it with your app. And we even retain the factory exhaust pipe, so the car will really look stealth, but we still might wake up a few neighbors. First things first, we gotta grab the factory heat shield, wrap the Armytrix exhaust up in that heat shield, then we're gonna start the reassembly process. Once everything is hooked up and clamped up, we'll start the car up and hear a cold start with the Armytrix valved exhaust. This is hysterical. It's so much lighter than when I took it out. Before we install the final part of the exhaust, the valved part here, what I want to do is start things up, make sure nothing is touching the frame or anything like that. Everything I can see right now looks really good. We've got our new clamps installed, and basically we just want to listen for rattles, shakes, or anything like that. What we're about to hear should sound pretty close, not 100%, but pretty close to what this car will sound like with the valves open. We have our valve pipes hooked up now. I've got this all loosely connected. If this works right, then we'll button it up when we're buttoning up the entire rear end. But basically, there is a solenoid that you mount right here in the engine bay. You run a vacuum line to it, and now I've got it kind of just temporarily hooked up. We're going to button this up and hide it inside here underneath the whole entire gauge cluster. But here is our Armytrix remote. What we have to do first is actually turn the car on. Let's see here. So this is on. Let's try and shut it off. Try it. That's still pretty loud. So let's go check our vacuum settings. I might have them reversed. All right, so we flipped our vacuum lines around. Keep your eyes right here. I gotta aim this towards the front of the car. You see it opening? That's open. That's closed. Rear end is almost finished. Just got to put the bumper back on, got to put the plate that goes on there, put a bunch of fasteners in place, a ton of fasteners. But the assembly has been really simple. We made sure none of the heat shields are touching our new exhaust because we don't want any rattling noises. We are almost ready to finish up our exhaust install. running out of daylight. We've only got a little bit over a day left before I've got to bring this car in for its rebuild inspection. We got a lot of good stuff going on here and very little left to do. Let's start with the inside. You can see that everything has been buttoned up in here. Our wire is running down and then it goes under the pillar here, goes underneath the bottom panel there. Our module and everything is hidden behind here. The only thing you can see is the connector that is connected to our OBD port. That allows us to use the app control and also that remote control you see there on the ground. So the interior is pretty much done with the exception of giving it a really good cleaning. Now, if we come around back, few things here. The time lapse looked really seamless. And this was a pretty straightforward reassembly, but there's a lot of stuff going on back here. So first thing, I gotta button up this back corner. That's just a couple bolts, so no big deal there. Then if we come around, there's a bunch of screws that I gotta do up here. We're gonna do that tomorrow. And then underneath, I'm gonna leave that under panel undone for right now because we're gonna do a full oil change, any other easily serviceable items on the R8. But before we completely lose daylight, I want to hear what this thing sounds like. I've only been able to turn on for a few second bursts, but right now we're going to turn it on. We're going to get a full cold start. Let's do a bunch of revs. Let's do it with the valves open, valves closed, and let's make sure that everything sounds good, nothing rattles. So let me set up the good camera, the good microphone, and let's hear what this Army Tricks exhaust sounds like. Here's what it sounds like inside the car. That's the valves open. Here, I'll go ahead and close them. Open again. So I showed you the remote to open and close the valves, but one of the coolest things with the Army Tricks exhaust is the fact that you can control it with the app. So you can turn the valves, you hear it change a little bit, from open to close, or they call it on or off. What I think is really cool and what I'll end up doing is using this auto mode. So you can set between like 3,000 RPMs and red line for the valves to completely open up, kind of like they do on some of the GM performance exhausts. The other really cool thing is if you're on the road, you get a check engine light. If you hit this, you can check all your trouble codes. It will scan it for you. We don't have a check engine light, so I assume we will not find anything there. And then this is the other really awesome thing. It gives you all the different live data that your car is capable of displaying. So I mean things like air to fuel ratio, air temp, RPM, speed, oil temperature. Let's select a couple things here, oil temperature and RPM. Then you hit this checkbox here, and here it is right here. So if we hit, pretty cool. If we go back here, it shows that we are off, and then we'll just hit on. We'll do it one more time. Well guys, we got quite a bit of work done today, and I'm pretty excited that the Audi R8 is almost 100% complete. Just in a little bit over 1 day, I'll be taking this car in for its rebuild inspection. So I'm gonna go home, get some rest, and be back bright and early to finish this thing up. Then we'll finally get to drive it, hear what this exhaust sounds like on the road. But guys, if you enjoyed the work that you saw today, and also the noises that you heard out of the Audi R8, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not already following me on Instagram, be sure to do so. You can do so right here, or just click the link in the description box below. Until next time, when we take the Audi R8 in for its rebuild inspection, find out whether it passes or fails. I'm pretty optimistic it will pass. I will catch you very soon.